Yo, what's up guys, Jack here, and today I'm 4 years old, on YouTube that is, and in real life I'm 29 years old today. It's my birthday, and I'm in my birthday suit right now, in fact, completely naked. Not really, but this is no coincidence. 4 years ago today, October 27th, 2011, I uploaded my first ever video to YouTube, and that's what you're seeing now. It was titled Quality Test Footage, and as you can see, the quality is pretty bad by today's standards. It's only 720p 30fps and I left resampling on, so it's a bit blurry. But back then, it was a lot harder to record gameplay. We had to use fraps, and my god, that made massive file sizes and cut your frame rate in half, quite literally. I digress. So the next day, I upload this video. Battlefield 3 online gameplay, multiplayer number 1, Damavand Peak. It's like the worst title ever, way too long. And it was just me and a group of friends playing BF3 together for the very first time. The microphone quality is awful, and we used Ventrilo, which sounds terrible, especially compared to TeamSpeak. And this is what my YouTube channel was going to be about. It was just me uploading clips, playing games with mates so we could have a memory of it, messing about and testing in Battlefield on private servers, and hopefully look back at it one day and see exactly how stupid we were. So I continued to upload gameplay videos, and somehow I managed to gain a small subscriber base. Not many people were really doing Battlefield stuff or even PC stuff back then. The YouTube gaming space was dominated by COD, so I think that helped. Like, there was an audience who actually wanted to watch this stuff, thankfully. More BF3 videos went up, and then some CS Source mixes, and then even some Modern Warfare 3 when that was released. And then a tutorial on how to fly helicopters in BF3, then a montage I made from real gameplay, Should You Buy Battlefield 3. That was my first big-ish video, I guess. And back then, big was like 10,000 views, but it actually got shared by the official Battlefield Facebook page, and that was huge back then, as did the next video that I made. And then on November 29th, a month after the release of the game, I created a Battlefield 3 Like a Boss parody, and people seem to really like that. Have a quick look now.
Well, the first thing I do is
select my kit, spawn on the ship, little bird, go for a swim, destroy your building, my own tank, play with some toys, promote teamwork.
And making this video opened my eyes to what people maybe wanted to see on YouTube. It wasn't just about raw gameplay or edited clips. It was about creating entertainment, whether that's a song, a piece of machinima, a commentary, tips and tricks, whatever it may be. And next up, this video here, Counter-Strike Global Offensive gameplay. This is actually one of the first ever CSGO videos that went up on YouTube. On December the 1st, Valve released the first ever playable beta of CSGO. There were only 10,000 participants to begin with, and luckily I managed to get a key because I was quite a well-known player back then in the CS scene in Europe. So I jumped into a server. I think the only maps available were Dust and Aztec from what I recall, recorded the first round and just uploaded the highlights. I posted some more CSGO videos showing off the new maps, mechanics and menus. At this point I wasn't sure if CSGO would be popular on YouTube at all, because back then it really wasn't. Like, Twitch was still very young and the game wasn't very well received by the community because it kind of sucked, and you also had this big divide between people still hanging on to CS 1.6 and others swearing that CS Source was a better game. So there was a big split in the CS community, and nowadays, as you know, CSGO is massive on Twitch and YouTube, partly because of the genius move by Valve to implement skins and trading, but also betting websites, and the fact that the game now has a bustling, huge esports scene, and it's a pretty damn good game now after being updated several hundred times. Moving on, I decided to write another Battlefield song in 2011, this time a parody of the History Channel's The World Is Just Awesome advert, and it went like this. I love the mountains,
and I love to help my team.
I love to snipe from here, it gives me self-esteem.
I love the battlefield
and everything about it. Boom diada, boom diada, boom diada, boom diada. So I got a lot of mates involved for that, and it turned out to be kind of cute, and it's great to look back on it now and see just how much we enjoyed Battlefield 3 and how excited we were for it back then, even with all of its flaws. And it was after that video at the end of 2011 that I had a lot of YouTube partner networks email me and go, hey Jack, you want to partner up with us and sign your soul away? You know, you can make money off this, right? And so naturally I was like, yeah, alright then, so why not? And I signed up with Machinima, who at the time were the biggest network and had guys like Cnanas, Hutch and Cupquake, and they were like massive, and also most of the big COD YouTubers too. I think even Pro Syndicate was with Machinima back then. So I was like, yes boys, we made it. But in reality, I was getting so little views back then that I was literally making about $30 a month from YouTube. And I had a full-time job as well as an admin at a private company, which really sucked. So it was just a hobby back then and like a little bit of extra cash on the side. And so now I'm thinking, hey, you know, this is pretty cool. There's a small group of people who want to watch the videos that I create, which is a great feeling. And so I set about working on bigger projects that took a lot more time to create, but it meant that they'd be viewed more and hopefully pull in a bigger audience, especially if they were shared. And this led to my first ever really popular video. Back then, it was very popular, and it was shared by Philly D on his Twitter, and that was just insane to me because I watched him all the time. I used to watch his daily update videos, and that video was called Run. The idea came to me one night just before I went to bed, and it was to make a short scripted set piece without any cuts of a dude just going ham in BF3 on Damavand Peak, just killing everyone. And it has to be set and timed to a piece of music by a guy called Ed Harrison, who created the Neo Tokyo soundtrack. And this took a very long time to plan and film. First off, I had to round up 11 friends who were patient enough to learn where they had to go and what they had to do and at what time. And it was kind of like directing but in a video game. And also we actually took around 6 to 7 hours in total to get one good take of the whole run, because things would always go wrong. There'd be bugs, someone wouldn't do the right thing, or I'd miss a shot. But eventually we managed to pull it off and the video was a big hit because there wasn't really anything like it at the time. And this video really helped to grow my channel in terms of new subscribers and viewership. Now, I don't want to bore you with an entire history of my YouTube channel. No one wants to watch that. So I've gone through and picked out some of my favorite videos over the last 4 years, and I'll do like a little synopsis and a bit of history for each one. Only in Battlefield 3, I spent nearly 4 weeks making this video, and it's one that I'm most proud of. It was for the Only in Battlefield competition. You had to make a video or submit a clip that encapsulated an Only in Battlefield moment. And if you won the competition, you won a cool gaming PC in an ammo box, which was pretty unique and neat. So I set about to make a DICE style trailer for BF3 using in-game unscripted footage that I had to go and play and record. And this was really hard, as you can imagine. Also, I played through and recorded the entire single player campaign for the sounds in there and cut them out, because back then no one had ripped the audio files, and when you add cool sound effects to videos, it makes them just that so much better. Now, almost all of the sound in that video is redubbed. And there were no cinematic tools back then. The shots you see where there's no HUD and the camera pans down, I had to use a trick with the MAV to record those. You'd send it up into the air, kill yourself from the redeploy menu, turn the HUD off really quick, and then you retain the view of the MAV as it slowly falls down to the ground for a few seconds. And that gives you like a really nice stable falling shot. And this video took a lot of inspiration from Roly the Poly and his video team at DICE. I watched a podcast with him in, and I remember him saying that the perfect trailer length he thought is around 1 minute and 43 seconds. And I made 1 minute 45 by the end of it, so not that far off, but it ended up being one of the winners of the competition, which was a great feeling, and I managed to get myself a swanky new gaming PC out of it. Moving on, another one of my favourite videos, Dumb Ways to Die BF3. A parody of an Australian safety around trains video. So I got the instrumental, wrote the lyrics, filmed the footage with friends, and I sent my microphone in the post to a friend that I played BF3 with called Abby, and she's a great singer. She recorded the vocals, sent them back to me, I added a couple of harmonies, and boom. I would have sung it myself, but I think the song really needed female vocals to be good, and of course I am a terrible singer. Next up, the Wrath of Silas. I watched this back recently and I find it hilarious, but the amount of time I spent writing this series, filming it and editing it was ridiculous. And it also relied on my friends volunteering to help for hours and recording voice acting for me, which is ultimately why the series couldn't continue. And this was a concept that I came up with where it starts out as if it's just a normal Let's Play with my mate Carl on DayZ. We joined a new server, played the game with a bit of commentary, but then all sorts of weird stuff starts to happen. There's a mysterious sniper, bandits that attack us, a private army that's based in the north, controlled by an evil dude called Silas, a weird guy on a bike, a rebel camp based in a castle. There was like this whole massive backstory that I wrote. And both of the episodes I created, episode 1 and 2, were entirely scripted. And this was such a bitch to film because DayZ mod was a buggy mess back then, and we would have to redo so many scenes. But it's not like BF3 where you can just restart the map. Nope, you had to restart the server, add all the mods back on, respawn the players that were dead, and set everything up each time, give them all the correct gear and character models. And eventually, spoiler alert, myself and Carl would realise that the other characters in the server weren't people role-playing from home on their PCs. They were actually real people trapped in the game itself. They just didn't know that they were in a video game. And we decided that, we got to try and help these people and save them from Silas, this evil guy who was actually another real person playing the game who discovered the server and decided to take over it and call it his own and control it like a dictatorship. But eventually we would overthrow him and restore peace to the server. It's so stupid. But I did write the script and film a little bit of episode 3, but sadly it just had to end because of time constraints. And I felt bad like relying on my friends and asking them to help me out all the time. I think maybe if I'd have had like a dedicated group of paid actors who could stick around, then we could have finished off the series. But my mates, really, I couldn't ask them to do it because at the end of the day, they've got their own stuff to do. Next, the Battlefield versus Call of Duty Rap Battle.
What up, Doc? It's COD, dude. About to bat a battlefield back to 1942 till the entire world plays me when it's game time.
This one, my gamer's biggest selling point is fish AI. You're the least innovative of the gaming franchises. Same game every year. What are your fanboys got Alzheimer's? Yeah.
And this was very much a collaboration between myself and David Brown, also known as Boy in a Band, who is an extremely talented music producer and a great guy. I pitched the idea to him, he said yes, I'm on board, and then I basically wrote a massive essay detailing the differences between Battlefield and Call of Duty in all respects, everything that you can think of, from the player base to the mechanics to the sales figures, and then I wrote down how the fan bases would argue with each other on these various topics. Then I got together with Dave over a Indian curry. We went through and discussed it all and went about writing the lyrics to a rap battle based around the whole COD versus Battlefield argument. Dave made the instrumental, which is based on Dr. Dre's What's the Difference Between Us. I went to his place, he'd finished up the lyrics. We then recorded the vocals for each side. He was COD, the Eminem style kid. I was Battlefield, the mature Dr. Dre style player. And Dave mixed all the vocals and made it sound awesome. And then we went out into some woods nearby to film us prancing around in fake military gear that I bought from Amazon. And also back at his place, we filmed footage of us both dressed up in front of a green screen. It was a very cheap production that took a lot of time and effort to create. I took the footage home with me, spent days editing it all into a video that looked cool with sounds and effects and everything, added the song on top, and boom, we had it. And to this day, that's actually my most viewed video on my channel with over 12 million views. It's even recently appeared in the Gamers Guinness World Book of Records, which is pretty freaking cool. And it gets new comments and likes every day, people chiming in with their opinions on the matter. It's still a hot topic even today, and I guess it always will be. Now, moving on to a couple of Frag movies I made for Battlefield. I was always into making Frag movies. My earliest ones that I created were in Counter-Strike 1.3 back around the year 2000. When I was just a sprightly teenager. A couple of my favourites that I've made recently are No Fly Zone for BF3 and Frizon for BF4. Lots of infantry taking out helicopters and jets, that sort of thing, with snipers, RPGs, etc. I don't really have a story to tell about these, but I am very happy with the results, the music choice, and they took a very long time to create and edit. Only 2 more to go now, and this one has a special place in my heart as I think it's one of the most complete machinima videos that I put together. Team Fortress 2 versus Battlefield. The idea was that the TF2 characters would build a portal to go and investigate other video games. So they build it and end up wreaking havoc in BF3 because that's where they end up teleporting.
Fight like big man. Here I come! Curtain blowouts! Kaboom! That's the way you do it! Piss off, big head! Bloody...
But I wanted to make it look really good and believable. Luckily, I've got another very talented friend called Stu who knew how to use the Source engine, so I pitched the idea, like if I sent him still camera shots of Battlefield 3 levels, could he replicate the angle and field of view in a Team Fortress 2 map? But the key thing is that the walls would have to be green, so I could chroma key them and overlay the BF3 footage so it looked like the TF2 characters were in the game, even interacting with the Battlefield soldiers on occasions and killing them, as you see in the shot with the Heavy on Operation Metro. I made a storyboard, recorded all of the still video in BF3, sent the clips to Stu, and he recreated the sections of the levels I wanted in Team Fortress 2 using the Source engine with the same field of view and camera angles. And somehow we pulled it off, like it worked and it looked good. He even built the level at the start with the teleporter so you could show that happening as well. I got some friends together, told them what to do, and we filmed it all. Also got some voice acting in there from Tommy of Two Angry Gamers fame, and a shout out to my friend Jordan as well, who helped me with some tracking on the shots. And in the end, I think it's a nice little machinima project that turned out well. It might not have the most views on my channel, but personally, I love that video. And finally, the most recent video on the list, and the last one that I'll mention today, the games of 2014. This was a montage I put together at the end of last year, and it covers most of the best games that were released in 2014. Hopefully I'll do one for 2015 if I get time.
And that's where I come in.
This is more what I had in mind.
I spent way too long making this video, syncing the music, adding sound effects, dialogue, sourcing the footage, going in game to record specific things, but I am very happy with the end result. And reading some of the comments was awesome because it touched a lot of people apparently, proving that, hey, you know what, video games aren't just some time-wasting hobby for kids. You can make careers out of them, they're a big part of our lives, they provide us with fun, emotions, you can make real friendships, you can have real social situations, and above all, they're excellent entertainment and drama. So there we have it, some of my favourite videos. I have over 1,000 now, so that's a very small selection, but I hope that you enjoyed the little bit of history there. A big thank you to you guys, the audience that watch my content. It's really cool that this is a thing, and I'm very grateful for all your support 4 years down the line, and all of my mates as well that have helped me and collaborated along the way. Cheers. Got a very busy couple of weeks coming up. Overwatch, Battlefront, Fallout 4, Need for Speed, and all the other games that are coming out over like November and December. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's definitely a good time to be a gamer. As always, thank you for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.
What took you so long?